Welcome to my latest podcast series, One Life. My name's Terence Wallace, and I'm the writer and publisher of a weekly essay entitled Indelible Adventures, and I'm your host. This podcast series sets out to prompt and challenge your thinking about life and what it means to really live your life. I'll share with you my insights and personal experiences with the sole objective of getting you to reflect and think about your approach to living your best life. So let's get started. This week's episode is entitled Perceptions. Just so you know, luck has nothing to do with the life I've created or the opportunities that I've made for myself over the course of my life. Sometimes others may look at you and the life that you've created and make assumptions without really understanding what you've overcome to get where you are today. A few years ago, I had an interesting experience, and one which highlights my point. I'd pulled up on a side street outside a Starbucks in Toronto. My friend had nipped inside to Starbucks to pick us up coffees, and while I waited, a random guy who had just come out of the shop walked over to my car and slammed his hand on the bonnet of my car and screamed, "You spoiled fuck. Did your daddy buy that for you?" before stalking off. To say that I was gobsmacked is an understatement of monumental proportions. Sure, I was driving a nice car for which I had worked incredibly hard to buy. Was I upset that he'd hit my car? Absolutely. But more so that he had no clue as to my life and how I'd built the life that I'd always wanted through focus, perseverance, and hard work. What I was most upset with was that he'd made a huge value judgment based on nothing other than what he'd seen. The unfortunate reality is that we can look at anyone in isolation and make value judgments about them and their lives with zero understanding of their past or what it's taken for them to get where they are today. It's easy to make yourself feel better by dismissing someone else's accomplishments because you believe that it came easy to them. However, as we know, perceptions can be misleading. Sometimes perceptions have a negative impact as well, particularly as it relates to the influences we see on social media. Me, like you, are in awe of the fantastic locations, the perfect bodies, and the endless riches that we see. But this isn't the true reality of the situation, not by a long shot. Much of what we see is staged for effect, with the reality being far less glamorous or lucrative as it's made out to be. Burnout and stress are incredibly high with this group because they're always trying to find the next big thing that will capture people's imagination. Unfortunately for them, they constantly need to stay relevant without becoming yesterday's news, and must be so exhausting. Like it or not, the hard reality is that we've all made value judgments in our lives, often based on what we see without further knowledge or input. That old saying, "Before you judge a man, walk a mile in his shoes," is more than true. I think what stung me most about the coffee shop incident was the complete lack of understanding of my life to that point. The struggles out of poverty, leaving home at 17 and putting myself through university to craft a successful life has been all on me. There's no question that my life's been fraught with missteps and mistakes along the way, which is normal given that I had little guidance and support. But as much as these moments were painful, they were the lessons that I learned that have made me stronger and more resilient, and have indeed created the foundation for where I am today. And to be clear, there have been no silver platters, no handouts, nothing except my three key things: hard work, focus, and perseverance, along with my gut instincts to help guide me. Every person's life is made up of experiences, challenges, and mindset. And we do ourselves a huge disservice by jumping to conclusions without really understanding the person and each of these dimensions. What I've personally found is the more experienced I've become, the more I try to focus on me and what I can control and less about what I'm unable to. So rather than looking outwardly and judging, look inwardly and think to yourself, how can I possibly live my best life? I believe living your best life is on your terms, and that's what we should all be striving for, irrespective of what others perceive or think about us. If you're on the receiving end of personal criticism, this can be quite stinging and confronting, especially if you feel it's unwarranted. But what sets you apart is your reaction to it. Changing or adjusting others' perceptions is done through deeds, not words. I know my story, and I'm proud of my life and my accomplishments, and I don't feel as though I need to justify or explain it to someone else who's been quick to judge. Nope, it's not worth my time because I live life on my terms and measure myself against the blueprint to living my best life that I believe to be true. So what about you? Do you look at someone else and say, lucky them or poor me, rather than take responsibility for where you are in your life today? And more importantly, are you willing to do whatever it takes to move forwards and toward living your best life on your terms and being less judgmental and more supportive of those around you? Remember, you get to choose every day how you live your best life. If you'd like to learn more about Indelible Adventures and the products and services we provide, please take a moment to visit our website at www.indelibleadventures.com. Indelible Adventures is one word. Well, thanks for listening and look forward to hosting you again soon. All the best.